Chapter 35, The Lab. Accordingly, whatever you have said in the dark will be heard in the light, and what you have whispered in the inner rooms will be proclaimed upon the housetops. Luke 12:3, The Grim Circle. The cabin's lone table groaned under the weight of four hunched figures, their shadows flickering against the log walls as the fire spat embers into the dim. 2 days of recon had left Wade, Kristen, Jay, and Mayumi hollow-eyed but wired, their voices overlapping in a tangle of exhaustion and urgency. The slate between them bore a fresh sketch, a perfect circle, 20 feet high, jagged with scravic bones. A single 10-meter gap yawning like a wound. In the center of it, a rough sketch of a comm array, its dishes, frozen mid-shift, loomed over their words. Wade leaned forward, elbows planted on the table, his pulse pistol a silent sentinel at his hip. 2 days watching that thing, and I still can't square it, he said, his voice low and deliberate, the cadence of a man wrestling with the impossible. A perimeter of scravic skeletons, stacked, not scattered. 20 feet of calcified menace, precise as a bulkhead. And that access point, 10 meters wide, clean-edged, leading to a door that's been open so long the dust's a carpet. Kristen tapped the slate, her finger tracing the circle's arc, her brow furrowed under a streak of alien dirt. It's not random, Wade, she said, her tone sharp with conviction. Those bones aren't wind-piled. Someone, something built that wall or stopped them in their tracks. And the door? Decades, maybe centuries, untouched. No tracks, no wind shift. Whatever happened here, it's been dead a long time. Jay snorted, slumping back with a restless twitch, his hands drumming the table's edge. Dead, sure, but not quiet, he said, his voice carrying a jagged edge of unease. That comm array's alive. 6-hour shifts, regular as a chronometer. We watched it tilt yesterday, sunlight glinting off the main dish like a beacon. Mechanical as all get out, but Mayumi's scanner says it's mute. No signal, no EM pulse. Just gears grinding for nobody. Mayumi nodded, her sharp eyes flicking to the scanner resting beside her, a battered relic of their scout ship, its screen cracked but glowing faintly. He's right, she said, her words clipped, precise. A technician's clarity cutting through the murk. I ran a full sweep, nothing. No carrier wave, no handshake protocol. It's a ghost system, cycling on a timer, built to talk to the stars but saying zilch. Tech like that doesn't just sit idle, not without purpose. Wade scrubbed a hand over his stubbled jaw, his gaze narrowing as he stared at the slate's skeletal ring. Purpose is the kicker, he muttered, half to himself. Scravic don't build like this. Perimeters, yeah, but not art projects. Stack a wall of their own dead? That's not their style. Too organized, too human. In that array, human design, no question. Clean lines, modular mounts, but it's old, outdated. A century behind the rigs we've seen on their ships. Kristen's hand brushed his arm. A fleeting anchor. Before she leaned in, her voice dropping low. Old but powered, she said. That hum we caught. Faint, steady, like a reactor on standby. Whatever's feeding it hasn't quit in all this time. And the door, open, inviting, but no one's walked through. It's a trap, a tomb, or a time capsule. Pick your poison. Jay barked a laugh, short and bitter, his fingers stilling on the table. Tomb's my bet, he said. Scravic bones outside, human tech inside? Sounds like a last stand. Some poor losers got overrun, left their toys running. But if it's a trap, who's it for? Us? Something else? That array's ticking like it's waiting. Mayumi's frown deepened, her mind visibly churning as she tapped the scanner's edge. Waiting's the problem, she said. No signal doesn't mean no function. Could be a relay. Dormant, coded, something we can't ping without the right key. Or it's broadcasting on a band we don't have. Point is, it's active and we're blind to why. That's not frozen in time. That's poised. Wade straightened, his eyes sweeping the crew. His wife, his friends, his lifeline on this hostile paradise moon. Poised or not, we're not cracking it from here, he said, his tone firming into command. 2 days recon gave us the shape, circle, door, array, but no answers. We've got a site that's half mausoleum, half machine, and it's been sitting there longer than any of us have been breathing. Splitting up's off the table. Too many unknowns, too little firepower. We go in together, all four of us. Kristen nodded, her gaze locking with his, a ranger's agreement layered over a wife's trust. Together's the only play, she said. Pairs can't cover that gap. 10 meters is a kill zone if anything's watching. 4 sets of eyes, 2 pistols, bows for backup. We move slow, sweep it, figure out what we're dealing with. Jay grinned, a flicker of his usual fire sparking through the tension. Fine by me, he said. I'm itching to see inside that door. Bones outside, secrets in. Just don't ask me to wipe my feet on the welcome mat. Mayumi squeezed his arm, her lips twitching faintly before she turned serious again. We need a plan beyond stepping in, she said. That array's the key, mechanical or not, it's the heartbeat. We disable it first, cut any chance of it waking up something we can't handle. Then we dig. Wade tapped the slate once, decisive, the sound sharp in the quiet. Agreed, he said. We pack light, move at dawn. Array first, kill its clock if we can, then we search. No heroics, no risks we don't have to take. He paused, his voice softening as he met their eyes. And we stick tight. Whatever built that circle, whatever left that door open, it's not getting us cheap. Calmo down. The alien dawn broke in muted pinks and reds, casting long shadows across the skeletal circle as Wade led the crew toward the 10-meter gap. Their boots whispered over the mossy ground, each step measured, bows at the ready and pulse pistols gripped tight. The wall of Skravik bones loomed 20 feet high on either side, rib cages and skulls piled in a random tangle, a grim testament to some long-forgotten surge. Wade's eyes narrowed as he caught 2 small probes, each a meter tall, jutting from the soil at the gap's edges like silent sentinels. Their matte black casings gleamed faintly, unmarred by time. Then he noticed one every 10 meters in perfect alignment with the skeletal circle. Probes, he murmured, voice barely above a breath, signaling a halt with a raised fist. Flanking the entrance. Mayumi, sweep 'em. Mayumi crouched low, her scanner humming faintly as she angled it toward the devices, her brow furrowed, fingers dancing over the cracked screen. Nothing, she said, her tone clipped, analytical. No power, no emissions, dead as the bones. Could be sensors, dormant or burned out. We're blind either way. Wade edged closer, his gaze flicking between the probes and the half-open door beyond. It looks like these probes had something to do with these dead Skravik. All except this gap, this part of their perimeter failed, I would guess. That would be some handy tech for the fight. We should retrieve one of the probes when we have time, Mayumi said, her voice steady but taut. Let's not wake anything up. Single file, slow, Wade said. I'll take point. His pulse pistol a steady weight in his hand as he advanced. The crew falling in behind, Kristen, then Mayumi, with Jay bringing up the rear. The gap stretched wide, a kill zone if anything stirred, but the silence held, broken only by the faint crunch of dust underfoot. They reached the door, a slab of alloy wedged ajar, dust piled against its base like a gray tide and its surface pitted with age. Wade nudged it with his boot. It creaked faintly, revealing a sliver of dimness within. The air wafted out, stale, dry, with a hint of metal but no rot, no death stink to gag them. Stale, not foul, Wade said, peering inside. Lights are low. Our eyes'll adjust. Let's move in. Stay tight. They slipped through, the half-open door scraping the floor as they passed. The interior unfolded in shadows, desks overturned in a jagged arc, forming a makeshift barricade. Skravik skeletons sprawled across the floor, limbs twisted. Beyond the desks, human remains lay in tatters, military fatigues shredded, bones gouged and splintered. Kristen's breath caught as she traced the scene, her mind piecing it together. Fighting position, she said, nodding at the desks. They held here, humans, soldiers. The Skravik broke through and tore 'em apart. There's no decay smell, means it's old, real old. Jay's eyes darted past the carnage, landing on a ladder bolted to the far wall, its rungs leading to a hatch in the ceiling. Roof access, he said, a spark of his usual energy cutting through the gloom. That's our shot at the comm array. Up close, no guessing. We need to see it. Kill it if we can. Wade's gaze followed, then swept the room again, assessing. Good call, he said decisive. But we don't split wide. Two up, two down. Jay, you and me hold security here. Chris, Mayumi, take the roof. Keep your eyes sharp. Report everything. Kristen gave him a quick nod, her hand brushing his arm, a flicker of trust, before she headed for the ladder, Mayumi close behind. The rungs creaked under their weight, but held, and they pushed the hatch open with a groan. Cold air rushed down as they emerged onto the roof, the comm array sprawling before them. 6 dishes, each 25 feet across, their surfaces dulled by decades of neglect. The main reflector gleamed faintly, frozen mid-shift, its mechanical hum a low pulse in the stillness. Mayumi knelt beside the nearest dish, her scanner sweeping its base. 6-inch cable, she said, tracing a thick line from the dish's control link to a central feed. Runs to the hub, twist lock connector, simple design. Unplug it here, it's death to the system. Kristen crouched beside her, testing the cable's fit with a firm twist. It resisted, then gave with a soft click, the dish's hum fading to silence. Old tech, but smart, she said, her voice low. 1 down, 5 to go. If this cuts the cycle, we've got control. They moved methodically, dish to dish, unplugging each cable with a practiced turn. The roof grew quieter with every disconnection, the mechanical heartbeat slowing to a stop. Mayumi paused at the last one, her sharp eyes meeting Kristen's. No signal before, no power now, she said. If it was talking to something, it's mute, unless there's a backup we can't see. Better than guessing, Kristen replied, straightening. Let's tell the boys. They descended the ladder, dust motes swirling in their wake, and found Wade and Jay still posted. Wade near the door, pistol ready, Jay scanning the room's shadows. Kristen stepped off the rungs, her voice cutting the quiet. Arrays down, she said. 6 cables, all unplugged, simple twist locks at the base, no hum, no motion. It's a corpse now. Wade's shoulders eased a fraction, though his grip on the pistol didn't slacken. Good work, he said, his tone warm but firm. No backup, Buzz? None we caught, Mayumi said, joining them. Scanner's clean. Could be deeper systems, but the dishes are offline. Step 1's done. Jay grinned, a flicker of relief breaking his tension. One less thing twitching out there, he said. Now what? Dig in here or haul something back? Wade's eyes lingered on the human skeletons, then flicked to the hatch. We've cut the voice, he said. Next we find its brain. Let's look for the hub, something we can move. Answers don't stay here. They come with us. The crew tightened their formation, the silenced array above a small victory in the vast unknown. The room's grim history pressed close, but they'd taken the first swing and landed it. They pressed into the hall in the rear of the facility, the crew feeling a silence so thick it pressed against their ears. No clatter, no hum, just the faint echo of their own steps. The hall emptied into a sprawling maintenance bay, its high ceiling lost in shadow, where stillness clung like damp rot. Vehicles gouged with claw marks, their tires dry-rotted and rims on the floor. But the real story lay in the fallen. A soldier's skeleton slumped over the hood of an ATV, helmet cracked. Nearby, a mechanic in shredded coveralls clutched a wrench, skull caved in, his other hand frozen on a pulse rifle with a drained cell. Skravek skeletons sprawled in heaps, spines arched, claws sunk into the floor as if halted mid-lunge. A toppled tool cart spilled wrenches and bolts, glinting dully beside a scientist's corpse. Her white coat splayed like wings. A data slate clutched to her chest, its screen black and shattered. The air hung heavy, unstirred for decades, the silence screaming of a stand that ended in slaughter. Log retrieval. The facility's corridors stretched before the crew like the veins of some ancient beast, dim and silent under flickering emergency lights. Wade took point, his pulse pistol a steady extension of his arm, its faint hum a lifeline in the gloom. Kristen flanked him, bow at the ready but more relaxed. while Mayumi and Jay followed, her scanner buzzing softly and his eyes darting to every shadow. The air hung heavy, stale, metallic, tinged with the dust of decades, but the absence of decay kept their nerves on edge. 2 days of recon had brought them here, but the sprawling lab complex defied quick answers. Too big, Wade muttered, pausing at a junction where 3 halls branched off, each lined with sealed doors. Weeks to clear this place, months maybe, no power, no shortcuts. We're picking needles from a haystack. Kristen peered into the nearest room through a cracked viewport. Test tubes glinted faintly, flanked by cages sized for Skravak and smaller earth creatures. Their bars rusted but intact, starved carcasses inside. Bioengineering, she said, her voice low, analytical. Look at this. Vats, gene splicers, the works. They were cooking something here, and not just Skravak mods. Jay nudged open another door with his boot, revealing a chamber of synthetic printers and half-assembled machinery. Sleek, but dated. Synth lab, he said, a wry edge to his tone. Military grade too. Those are pulse rifle casings, old patterns, century behind what we've seen on Skravak ships, but still nasty in its day. Mayumi's scanner swept the room, its faint glow casting her face in sharp relief. Don't touch anything, she said, her voice cutting through the quiet with a technician's precision. Last time we poked Skravak AI, it woke up. Self-protect mode, locked us out, nearly killed us. This place might be dormant, but it's not dead. One wrong move and we're lit up for anything listening. Wade nodded, his jaw tight as they pressed deeper. The halls gave way to more grim tableau. Soldiers in tattered fatigues, skeletons slumped against walls, rifles still clutched in bony hands. Scientists and lab techs lay scattered, white coats stained with long-dried blood, while Skravak remained sprawled among them, claws frozen mid-strike. The story was clear. A massacre, sudden and brutal, locked in time. Plenty of hardware, Wade said, eyeing a soldier's rifle, a heavy, blocky design, its barrel pitted with age. We could grab one and boost our firepower. We're thin as it is. Jay snorted, crouching beside a fallen trooper to inspect the weapon. Pass, he said, shaking his head. These relics are 100 years past their prime. Barrels corroded, power cells probably brittle. Pull the trigger, and it's as likely to blow your head off as fire straight. Kristen paused at a desk, her fingers hovering over a foil-wrap bar, its faded label proclaiming it a candy ration, a century old. She smirked faintly, then pulled back. Tempting, she said, but I'm not that desperate. Focus. Logs are the prize. We need what this place knew, not its snacks. Logs mean comms, Mayumi said, her sharp eyes already roving ahead. Central servers are bet, something tied to that array. If there's a brain here, it's got the memory. She led them on, her scanner guiding the way through a maze of labs and death until they reached a reinforced door, its panel dark but intact. Inside, the communication room was deathly silent. No power, but the promise of secrets. Consoles lined the walls, screens blank, while a squat rectangular unit sat at the center, 30 centimeters long, 20 wide, 15 deep, its matte gray casing scuffed and etched with a faded serial code. Mayumi knelt beside it, her scanner confirming its purpose. "Comm hub," she said, her voice steady but edged with excitement. "Shoebox-sized but heavy, encrypted drives inside, I'd bet my life on it. This is the log keeper." Wade crouched beside her, his gaze tracing the device's ports. "No lights or juice running," he said. "Is it safe to pull?" "Safe as we can make it," Mayumi replied, her fingers tracing a bundle of cables to their connection points. "No live circuits. It's dormant but not dead. We can take it whole, crack it back at camp. No risks here." Kristen and Jay kept watch as Mayumi worked, her hands deft and methodical, unplugging the hub with a soft click. She hefted it, compact but dense with potential, and tucked it under her arm. "Got it," she said. "Treasure and thread in one. Let's move." Hub's whisper. The march back to camp was tense and silent, with the hub resting quietly in Mayumi's firm grasp. The skeletal circle loomed behind them, as they crossed the 10-meter gap, probes still dormant. As they wearily strode into camp, the cabin's log walls greeted them like a fortress. Inside, they cleared the table, rigging salvaged scout ship gear, auxiliary batteries, and a cracked display around the hub. Mayumi connected the final lead, her hands steady despite the stakes. "Moment of truth," she said, her voice low, meeting each pair of eyes. Kristen's resolve, Jay's restless spark, Wade's quiet confidence. This thing